New info on the MSU shooting. A helicopter crashes on a highway, and a man pleads guilty to a first-degree murder.
All that and more on this episode of APSU TV News. Welcome back to your APSU TV News. I'm Ashley Hughes.
And I'm Alan Barty. It's still not clear why 43-year-old gunman fatally shot 3 students and wounded 5 at Michigan State University. Police say their manhunt Monday evening ended when the suspect killed himself. Investigators said the gunman had no affiliation with the university. The 5 students wounded in the shooting all remain in critical condition. The students who were killed include a veterinarian, chapter president, a science student, and a student wanting to be a pediatrician. Officials say Alexander Fierney, Brian Fraser, and Arnold Anderson lost their lives in the gunfire. Fierney was a junior from Clawson who was studying biology and archaeology. Fraser was the president of Michigan State chapter of Phi Delta Fraternity.
New information on a deadly shooting at Dodge's on Fort Campbell Boulevard late last month. It turns out the 2 men charged in the case were not the only ones who fired gunshots. Clarksville Now says a preliminary hearing revealed a veteran bystander admitted to firing 4 to 5 rounds at the suspects during the incident. He says he has a concealed carry permit and kept a licensed Glock 43X on his person. The veteran peacefully surrendered to the CPD officers for questioning and was later released.
A tragic week for the Tennessee National Guard. The Madison County, Alabama Sheriff's Office said a Black Hawk helicopter from the Guard crashed into a local highway Wednesday. Both Guard members on board were killed. An Army official said the helicopter, which was a training mission, crashed around 3:30 in the afternoon local time and caught fire. The U.S. official spoke on condition of amnesty to discuss an incident that was under investigation. The UH-60 helicopter, more widely known as a Black Hawk, crashed on the Alabama Highway 53, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency said in a statement.
Shock and grief at a high school in Brownsville, Tennessee on Monday, as students and teachers returned to class after a student was killed over the weekend. Someone shot at the 16-year-old girl as she was riding in the car with several other people. Carolyn Cedra has more.
Monday morning at Haywood High School was different. Extra law enforcement patrolling the campus, a reminder to students their friend, 16-year-old Christine Michael, was gone.
When I found out that it was like her life was taken from her, it hurt me, and I tried to hold my tears, but I let it go today because I know that I won't be able to see her in the hallway. I won't be able to, laugh with her.
Senundia Welch says the entire school is still grieving just days after learning Michael was shot and killed Friday night. Welch says many students couldn't be consoled.
I seen by like 20 people up in the girls' bathroom crying about Christine, talking about they finna go home. Grade 11 is so heartbroken because that was our president. Like, we looked up to her, and now we don't know what we're supposed to do now.
Michael was a member of the student council and was an athlete.
She was smart. She was our class president. She had goals.
Haywood County School Superintendent Amy Marsh issued a statement Sunday calling Michael a promising student who had tremendous plans for her future. Marsh also laid out plans to have these extra patrols for safety, along with support for the emotional needs of everyone still in mourning.
Her just being joyful. That's what I'm going to remember about her. She talked about how she wanted to be a model, she wanted to be a CNA, she wanted to have a good life.
Welch says right now friends are trying to stay positive by honoring Michael's memory.
What Christine would normally say is push yourself forward, don't let people break you down. That's what she always told me.
In Brownsville, Carolyn Serta, Fox 13 News.
Austin Peay's cheerleading team is suspended until further notice. Clarksville Now reports Austin Peay personnel received information alleging potential violations to the university policies. The cheerleading team and staff will not represent the university or athletics department at future events while the university investigates the allegations.
A man who led a high-speed chase while firing at deputies across 2 counties has pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree murder and other charges. Clarksville Now reports Donald James Robinson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, employing a firearm during the communication of a dangerous felony, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon with a prior drug offense, aggressive assault, and evading arrest by a vehicle with the risk of injury or death. He received a sentence of 35 years with serves of the Tennessee Department of Corrections. Robinson expressed his remorse to the deputies for his actions.
You'll have an easier time reaching emergency dispatchers in Montgomery County. The county's 911 emergency communications announced this week it is now accepting text to 911 service for Clarksville and Montgomery County. Wireless customers can now send a text up to 140 characters to 911 in an emergency. Text to 911 should only be used in an emergency situation where placing a call is not possible. For instance, if the caller is deaf, hard of hearing, speech impaired, or when speaking out loud would put the caller in danger. Do not text and drive. If there is an emergency and you are unable to make a call, remember these steps. Type 911 in the field for the phone number. Next, send the location and type of emergency in the first text message. Text should be brief and concise, without abbreviations, slang, or photos. Be prepared to answer questions and follow instructions from the 911 call taker.
The Clarksville Housing Authority, CHA, is preparing to transform leaking homes with a rebuild that includes modern updates and amenities for low-income families and individuals. Clarksville Now says the plan has been discussed for the past couple of years, but now it looks like the project is finally picking up steam. The goal of reconstruction was making the local housing authority less dependent on federal funds and allowing it to take part in the private market as revenue-producing developer.
Clarksville animal shelters struggle to maintain the increasing number of animals under their care. Montgomery County Animal Care and Control's annual report shows nearly 5,000 animals were taken to the shelter last year. That averages out about 14 animals entering the shelters each day. The main reason for owner surrender was too many pets, followed by housing, cost, and behavioral issues. Clarksville Now reports nearly 1,100 animals were adopted last year, with most of those being dogs and puppies.
We'll be returning shortly with our political corner after these messages.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Welcome to the Political Corner. Drag shows are once again coming under fire in the Tennessee Congress. A bill that would restrict where drag shows can perform in Tennessee has passed in the Senate in a 26-6 vote. A similar version is currently moving in the House. While the bill does not explicitly say where the words drag show, it does expand the definition of adult cabaret to include adult-oriented performances that would harm the minors, adjusting Tennessee's obscenity law. The law then goes to ban adult cabaret on public properties and locations accessible to minors. As of now, it is unclear whether the bills or both houses will amend into one.
The Tennessee Senate's GOP powerhouse is working towards slightly loosening one of the U.S. strictest abortion laws. A Republican-controlled panel of lawmakers on Tennessee advanced a bill that will allow for slight changes to the law that would include removing the affirmative defense from doctors, as well as exception for ectopic pregnancies, medical fertile pregnancies, and lethal fatal pregnancies. No exceptions has been made for rape or incest. Democrats have joined in bipartisan support and would like to see the additional restrictions lifted in the future. Previously, Governor Bill Lee and many Republicans were made firm that Tennessee has no exceptions in its current abortion law, and the affirmative defense from Tennessee doctors were enough to protect Tennessee women from harm, and as well as minimize the fallout of any doctors receiving federal charges.
Another bill passing involves gender transitioning minors. Tennessee Republican senators voted overwhelmingly to ban gender transition health for minors. The vote was 26-6, with all Democrats voting against the new bill. The Senate Bill 1 minors will be banned from accessing treatments that access gender dysphoria, as well as hormone therapy. People who also previously received gender transition health as a minor now have the ability to sue the legal parent or guardian that authorized the care at the time, under a 30-year statute of limitations. Legal challenges are expected to move forward if the bill is signed into law.
President Joe Biden is addressing the national security mystery of the 3 unidentified flying objects shot down by American fighter jets last weekend. Biden speaking Thursday after days of bipartisan calls that he should share more with the American people about the concerns. The president says intelligence experts do not think the objects are Chinese spy balloons, like the one brought down off the coast of South Carolina. Reid Biden was more on what he revealed Tuesday and the lingering questions surrounding the latest incidents.
More questions than answers as President Joe Biden makes his first remarks about the takedown of 3 more unidentified flying objects over the weekend.
We don't have any evidence that there has been a sudden increase in the number of objects in the sky. We're now just seeing more of them, partially because the steps we've taken to increase our radars.
During Thursday's speech, the commander-in-chief saying this about the latest trio of objects flying over North American airspace. They're not related to the suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down earlier this month, and not linked to Beijing spy programs or surveillance vehicles from other countries. Biden also says his administration isn't exactly sure what the objects are, but said they have some clues.
These 3 objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation or research institutions studying weather or conducting other scientific research.
Meanwhile, Biden also outlined 4 key measures to better monitor and detect objects in U.S. airspace, including updating rules and regulations for launching and maintaining unmanned objects above the U.S. Thursday's speech comes amid growing criticism of a lack of transparency about the objects. Biden insists he acted according to advice from military officials. While the president stopped short of announcing a date, he said he would be speaking with Chinese President Xi Jinping, saying he's not looking for conflict.
But make no mistake, if any object presents a threat to the safety and security of the American people, I will take it down.
I'm Reid Binion reporting.
To end off a bill-heavy day, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has a new competitor, Nikki Haley. The former South Carolina governor and United Nations ambassador announced this week on Twitter she is entering the race for president. The New York Times reports Haley's announcement is a well-hinted-at move that is likely to leave her as the lone major Republican challenger of Trump for many weeks, if not months, as the other potential 2024 rivals bide their time. Haley's campaign team hopes joining the race early will give the candidate a head start on fundraising and to command a closer look from Republicans' primary voters. This break.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Welcome back to APSU TV. I'm Mackenzie Wallace with your weather for the week. Looking at our current and national temperatures, we have Seattle at 42 degrees, Los Angeles at 62, Denver at 46, Dallas at 47, Chicago at 25, Atlanta at 44, and New York at 57. Looking at today's highs for Tennessee, we have Memphis at 44 degrees, Clarksville at 40, Nashville at 41, Chattanooga at 43, and Knoxville at 42. Looking at today's lows, we have Memphis at 28 degrees, Clarksville at 24, Nashville at 23, Chattanooga at 27, and Knoxville at 26. Our current temperatures for today, 36 degrees with a northwest wind at 12 miles per hour. And looking at tonight's temperatures, we have 24 degrees with a northwest wind at 2 miles per hour and 0% chance of precipitation. Looking at our 5-day forecast, Friday we have partly cloudy with a high of 40 degrees, low of 24. Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 53, low of 41. Sunday, partly cloudy, high of 64, low of 50. Monday, partly cloudy, high of 65, low of 50. And Tuesday, showers, high of 71, low of 59. That's going to be all for your local and national weather. APSU will be right back with sports.
Wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org. Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
there's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Good afternoon and welcome to Inside the Sports Zone. Jalen Gonzalez here, and we have a lot of sports going on here in Stashville. But first up, there's something special going on here at Austin Peay. APSU Athletics Department hosted a celebration last Saturday honoring Gov's women athletes from the past and present. The event promoted the relaunch of Lead Her Initiative, which is a program that helps to better the experience of being a female student athlete. A fundraiser is also being held right now in honor of the 50th anniversary of Title IX in hopes of raising $100,000, and $50,000 has already been raised. For those wanting to donate to this cause, you can go to letsgopeay.com. The time has finally come for first-time head coach Roland Fanning and his Austin Peay baseball team to start their inaugural ASUN season. The Govs will look to win their first game today as they host Illinois State in a series starting this afternoon at 4. If you can't make today's game, you can catch the game on Saturday at noon or Sunday afternoon at 1. The Govs will walk into this season with a bit of their chip on their shoulder after ranking 11th out of the 14 teams in the ASUN Conference. Staying on the diamond, Austin Peay softball season kicked off last weekend, but the team didn't get the results they hoped for as they went 0-3 on the weekend, losing to Robert Morris, Garner Webb, and Ohio. Despite the losses, the Govs were highlighted by two great performances, including career highs. Junior pitcher Jordan Beneful pitched a single career game high of 11 strikeouts against Robert Morris, while Megan Haughton did her work on the offense end against Ohio, going 3 for 3 on the day, with 3 hits being her career high in the game. With the opening of F&M Bank Arena, an era is coming to a close, as the last few games are being played at the Dave Aaron Arena inside the Winfield Dunn Center. The men have one more game, which is tomorrow at 3, while the women will play 2 more games on February 25th and March 1st. Currently, the women do have a solid chance of hosting a game in the postseason, but for the men, it will be the last game in the Dunn tomorrow, so come on out if you can and help be a part of history. Breaking football news from Austin Peay came out this week as it has been announced that the Govs will open next season on the road against Louisville. This game will take place of the 2 games originally set against Stephen F. Austin and Georgia Tech. Austin Peay already has big FBS games coming up in a few years with Georgia in 2025 and Vanderbilt in 2026. However, their closest FBS matchup will come this year as the Govs look to open their season at Rocky Top taking on Tennessee. Now, staying on the gridiron, most of you know that the Chiefs beat the Eagles this past Sunday, winning the Super Bowl in what was a close game that will go down as one of the best. Now, personally, I didn't have a horse in that race and actually refused to make a prediction because I really couldn't pick one. But there was more bias for Donna Kelce, the mother of Eagles center Jason Kelce and Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. CNN has more on the story. That's the time we have here for sports. Thanks for joining and stay tuned for more APSU TV news.
Wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org. Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
there's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Welcome back to the news. The Clarksville Police Department is looking for feedback on how they have performed. The CPD goes through a reaccreditation process every 4 years to ensure they are following specific rules and guidelines. The Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, or CALEA, uses feedback to strengthen police and community accountability by meeting high standards that define the police authority, performance, and responsibilities. The CPD has been an accredited agency since 2010. You can find the access portal on the Clarksville Police Department website.
Fort Defiance Civil War Park and Interpretive Center will host a living history event to commemorate the surrender of Clarksville and Fort Defiance to Union soldiers in 1862, tomorrow starting at 10 in the morning. The surrender of Clarksville was a significant event in Civil War history, opening to the South to Union forces and the capture of Nashville. Outside activities will include uniformed soldiers providing living history and cannon fire demonstrations. Also, visitors are welcome to tour the indoor permanent export and view the film, Crossroads of Change.
Austin Peay State University is partnering with the Cumberland River Compact to plant more than 100 native trees on campus this spring. Clarksville Online says contractors will install 74 trees, saving 26 for the campus and community volunteers to plant. Planting will happen Friday, March 10th, as part of Austin Peay's official Arbor Day celebration. To volunteer, go to Cumberland River Compact's Volunteer Hub and look for APSU Arbor Day tree planting.
A new night spot has opened indoors downtown. Skyline 500 Bar is part of Shelby's Trio at 304 North 2nd Street at the corner of College Street. Project manager for Shelby's Trio, Sarah Golden, told Clarksville Now during the Thursday's grand opening that she was excited to finally be able to share Skyline 500 with everybody. Quote, "I'm excited for us to get in kind of a routine and how it's going to look. We've got a lot of support from the community of Austin Peay tonight, and I'm very happy," end quote.
A little more than a century ago, the Titanic sank deep into the Atlantic Ocean. But some time ago, we were able to see the first time we came into contact with the shipwreck. This is Take a Look at This.
Take a look at the very first look humans ever got of the infamous wreck of the Titanic. More than a century after the doomed ocean liner met its icy fate, rare footage from 1986 of explorers' very first encounter with the shipwreck, sprawled across the floor of the Atlantic, has been released to the public. Shot by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute months after finding the wreckage in 1985, the eerie footage captures the famous vessel frozen in time 2 miles below the ocean's surface and features looks both outside and inside the sunken ship. The release coincides with the 25th anniversary of James Cameron's film Titanic. Cameron commented on the footage release, saying it's, quote, helping tell an important part of a story that spans generations and circles the globe. An even older shipwreck in the Baltic Sea yielded a surprising and somewhat savory discovery. 527 years after the Royal Danish ship Gribsjunden sank in 1495, scientists say they've discovered what they call a medieval pantry in its remains. During a recent excavation, they found 40 different types of fruits, vegetables, spices, and nuts, including almonds, grapes, peppercorns, and more, all in impressively semi-preserved conditions. In fact, many of the fruits, they say, retained their original color and skin, and saffron found in the remains, amazingly, still retained its distinctive aroma. Researchers credit the impressive preservation of the foodstuff to the Baltic Sea's cold temperature and low salinity. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at APSU TV Clarksville and Instagram at APSU_TV. Thank you for watching APSU TV News Update, and as always, let's go Peay.